Yes, it's Hamish Brayshaw's favourite band, the Southern River Band. Grand Final preview. We are here. Shelter FootyCast live from BackChat Studios. Mark Reddings is getting packed for a 2-day trip. He couldn't make it in. He's packing his bags. Couldn't make it in. We're going to speak to Mark Reddings a little later on in the show. But I'm joined by my co-host, Hamish Brayshaw. Hello, mate.
Yeah, Scully, how are you?
I'm very good. Once again, listeners, I do apologise. I sound like I have been doing some extracurriculars, but I actually am feeling fine.
You're feeling good, just coughing a bit.
I went to the show yesterday, actually.
Oh, how was it? No Birdie Beatles on the 60th year anniversary.
Is that right?
Apparently,
I was going to say you wouldn't know anything about the show because you don't have kids, but
I'm
you know
a show
all about
guy.
it.
No Birdie Beatles here. Apparently, they have some in New South Wales and Adelaide, but no, none here.
Breaking news. Bottom art roughie of the week. We're going to do that. So how are we going to do it this week? We're going to give our actual predictions, but we're going to come up with something, a result that maybe is a little bit rough. Bottom art roughie of the week. Start your footy weekend at Bottom Art. Grab your shelters where Bottom Art has you covered. I can't remember the last time you and I did this show. You've been doing it a bit with Skeet.
Yeah, I've been doing it a little bit
for
with
me.
Skeet. It's been a while.
It could have been a real while.
Yeah, I mean, I could go back and find out, but we don't have the time for it because Skeet's got a pack.
FootyCast at shelterbrewing.com.au. We're going to get to Skeeter a little later on the show. We're going to give the winner of the big grand final day later in the show as well, which we did a competition during the week for. But first, there's been a fair bit going on this week. We had our BackChat Brownlow session down at the paddo. Have you recovered? Are you still hungover?
I was buckled. I have just recovered. I walked out. Well, I didn't walk out. I stumbled out and got up the next morning. I was like, feeling actually pretty good. I reckon I might have only had sort of 6 or 7 pints. Realised I was still very much intoxicated. Yes. And then about an hour and a half later, sobered up and then started to realise that I had way more than 6 pints and was hungover as a dog.
I think we might need to combine the Shelter FootyCast with BackChat for next year's Brownlow because it was a raging success. Had over 200 people down at the paddo serving the Shelter BackChat ales.
Yep.
We ran out of them.
Yeah,
they're done.
I know.
They are sold out in Perth.
Yeah, disappointing.
We then moved to the Shelter IPAs, I believe they had on tap. I think they had the Shelter Pale Ales.
I think I had a Shelter Pale Ale. I couldn't have gone the IPA at that point. I was just done.
So we looked after Shelter, but I thought we might review the Brownlow Medal in this preview.
May as well.
How do you think that went? It was a good count. It certainly felt like a good count.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal count. There were lots of little storylines going on at the paddo, so that was good fun.
Who did you have to win it before?
I had Nick Dacos to win it because we had the bet.
That's right.
But I thought that if he wasn't going to win it, Petrarca was going to win it. And it looked good there for a bit. I thought he was going to storm home and he went out of the blocks hard. So I was pretty quietly confident.
There was some players that did storm home. I'm just looking at the full sort of the top 10.
Errol Goulden stormed home.
Errol came home hard.
Polled in 9 out of the last 10 games.
That's
22 of a possible 30 votes.
This is his last 10 games. 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 3, 0, 3, 1. That's a finish.
And that one that he got was 42 and 2.
That's right. It was.
So it should have been 3.
So that's what's happened out of this, out of this Brownlow count. Which I'm going to start on this one because there's been controversy. This one, people have been carrying on about a few things. I'll say what they are. So the Horn Francis 13 disposal game where he gets 3 votes.
Yep.
People aren't happy with that.
No one's happy with that.
Did he steal votes off someone?
Probably
the rest of the
Butters,
the rest of the people that played in that game.
Obviously.
Bontempelli had 3 games where he received 10 coaches' votes, so 5 from each coach, and he got 0 AFL Brownlow votes.
That hurts.
The big one for mine is the Lockie Neal 3. 20 possessions. Charlie Cameron kicked 7.
Yep.
Who were the other 2? They played GWS.
Josh Kelly had 42 and Stephen Canelio had 38.
So it's not all about touches because that is my point.
No.
I think this stuff happens every year.
Every single year. Last year, the umpires cheated to do it, so that was probably why it happened. Actually cheated and made a shitload of money off
they
it.
didn't cheat. They didn't cheat. They just colluded to bet.
Yeah, they did it, and then we're like, hey, guys,
you'll
never guess what I've done.
Jason Horn-Francis got 3 votes. So, look, I think this happens every year. This is what the Brownlow is. There's been calls to change who votes for it. There's been calls to have the umpires look at stats. There have been calls to have the coaches' medal be the most prestigious medal.
No.
The coaches' medal is a coaches' medal.
Yeah.
What about the coaches?
It's a
That's
fantastic
what that is.
medal.
Yeah, great. Zach Butters won that this year. Well done, Zach Butters.
Yeah.
There's the Players' Award, the MVP, the Lee Matthews medal.
Yep.
That's awarded by the players. That's what they think.
Yep.
The Brownlow is the Umpires' Award.
Yeah, correct.
Always has been.
And it always should be.
The stats is the thing that could you or couldn't you. I think leave it as it is. You're gonna have fuck. There's never been a year where there hasn't been like, oh my god, why doesn't this guy get?
They have no access to the stats, except for like at half time and quarter time and 3/4 time when you can see it on the screen.
Right.
Because like it'll say like they'll have comparisons. Hamish Brayshaw's had one touch at quarter time.
Scully's had one.
Yeah, where Hamish flying. So they'll know that. But it's the impact on the game from the umpire's point of view. So, suck shit if you don't like it.
Yeah, it's why it's a midfield-dominated Brownlow. Over the last 20 years, I think there's been no non-midfielder to win it. There's been...
Jeez, I love what Corey McKernan said.
What did he say?
About getting the Backman Award. That was phenomenal stuff.
He pretty much said the Brownlow's piece of shit.
Get a Backman Award.
Yeah, so he wants a Backman Award. Well, we did tell him that there is a Backman Award. Jack Buckley won that.
BackChat Backman of the Year Award.
Backman Award. So my thoughts on the Brownlow stay exactly how it is.
Yep.
Have this chat that we're having right now. There's going to be stuff-ups. You can't tell me the coaches never stuff up. Well, why are the coaches so integral and unapproachable? Like unreproachable?
Unimpeachable?
Maybe. Impeachable?
Impeachable? I don't know. Anyway, impoachable. Poached eggs.
I don't know. I think they all stand alone by themselves. I think the Brownlow will always be the most prestigious because it's been going for the longest.
Yeah, and that's not to say that Lachie Neale isn't a deserving winner. He was phenomenal this year.
Mate, he
was unbelievable.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of 24 rounds.
He is a star. An out-and-out star of the competition.
He finished with 2-3 voters to take him to the top of the table. Bontempelli was very, very good. He had an outstanding season. So Neale finished on 31, Bontempelli 29. Very stiff. Second time to be runner-up. Bontempelli was
the AFL Brownlow predictor got it pretty close.
Yeah.
Like pretty close.
And everyone writes that one off as well.
Yeah, I know. They had Neale for 32 votes winning it.
Let's be honest, Nick Dacos doesn't play in the last 6 rounds of the year.
He wins it by
a long,
He probably gets
way.
to 40 votes.
He had a decent patch in the middle of the year where he played 4 consecutive 3 voters in a row.
Did he?
Yeah.
We didn't realise that live.
Round 15, 16, 17, 18, 3 voters.
Wow.
Which is an incredible effort to be able to do that.
Well, that should have been a full-back for the BackChat.
Noah Anderson went back-to-back threes. So he finished in 10th spot. He went threes in round 5, 6, and 7. Caleb Sarong finished the year really well. And that's an exceptional year in a poor team.
In a shocking team, yeah.
He came 6th behind Christian Petrarca.
There you go.
Errol Goulden was the standout star. He was 7th, actually, Caleb Sarong.
Yep.
And Christian Petrarca, Zach Butters, Jack Viney.
Yeah,
we surprised with Jack Viney.
24 votes, Jack Viney. But he is one that's very much impactful under the umpire's eyes. He gets a lot of like hard contested possession clearance that just looks good in the umpire's eyes, I think. And he's my new favourite Melbourne player, so he's thoroughly deserving. My
man Toby Green, just outside the top 10 with 20 votes. Surprised with Tom Green's lack of votes. He got 16.
Yeah, I thought he would have got more. I also thought Toby would have got a few more.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm pretty happy that he didn't get some because then I would have had to serve beers nude for 2 hours. People weren't happy with Dom Sheed's 3-voter and a 70-point loss. Especially when Nick Dacos had 30-3 that day. Did he? Yeah, I was at that game and I've never seen a better live performance, I don't think, than Nick Dacos. He was very good. But he was phenomenal. Sheed had a fair bit of it. Like 45 Sheed got a bit of the nut. He got 43, I think. But it's tough to get 3 in a 70-point loss, isn't it? What about this little one? Fremantle have now drafted 2 dual Brownlow medalists. Yep. Nat 5, yep. Lachie Neale. Mm-hmm. Lachie Neale, they traded to Brisbane for pick 6. They used that pick 6 on Jesse Hogan to bring him to the football club. Yep. They then traded Jesse Hogan to the GWS Giants for something in the 50s. Yep. And they picked up Joel Weston, who is now been delisted. So effectively, Fremantle gave Lachie Neale away for nothing. Wow. Oh, that hurts. That really hurts. So I thought I'd just read that. Hello, Freo fans. Nice of you to join us. That's it. Brownlow medal. We had a great night. Lachie Neale wins his second. Lachie Neale finished the Brownlow in 1-3-3, which is exactly how I finished the Sandover. Good on you, Lachie. Will Schofield, Hamish Brayshaw, Shelter FootyCast. Oh, this is why we're here. Brisbane Collingwood, MCG, 12:30 p.m. Saturday. It's over here. It's an early start, isn't it, for a grand final? I sometimes forget here in Perth, when you go and do maybe an event or something like that, the game starts just after midday. Yeah. I love it when you're watching an in-season Friday night game that starts at 5:50. It's couldn't be better. Could not be better. Couldn't be later over East. I've been to Melbourne a few times this year, and the footy, it's like 7, 8 o'clock it starts. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's done here in Perth. Why is it so late? But the 12:30 start's good. You can get on the cans at like 6. You can lock in and have
Couple
a
of
few
shelters.
shelters and have a really good day.
So a few stats leading into this one. Collingwood haven't defeated Brisbane since round 3, 2021.
They've got a big streak against them.
They lost twice this year against them.
I'm going to get this exact same file sheet up so that I don't look like an idiot.
No, I'm not. I'm reading off a few
Okay.
pre-prepared ones. They're 5-7 against Brisbane all time at the MCG.
5 from 7.
Collingwood v Brisbane.
Yep.
Collingwood have won 5, lost 7 against Brisbane all time.
Go the Lions.
Because 2003 Grand Final would be one of those that Brisbane won.
Yeah.
There'd be a few, but Brisbane wouldn't play Collingwood at the MCG very often.
Very often, no, it would not be. It wouldn't be a mainstay fixture for them.
Taylor Adams is out. He is done and dusted.
Yeah, poor
Spoke about
bastard.
that a few times here over the last couple of weeks. I was almost certain he wouldn't play, and he tried to train on Wednesday. Has some awareness still. They were never playing Taylor Adams.
Yeah, never.
Unless he hadn't done his hamstring. You cannot recover from a hamstring within 3 weeks. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
Unless you don't do it. So he is out. So it's going to create some selection issues for Collingwood. I believe they have named Frampton.
They have named Billy Frampton.
Billy Frampton.
Craig McRae came on the other day and said that he's playing.
Thoughts?
Oh, man.
He's replacing Dan McStay.
Yeah, he's replacing
Because
McStay.
Taylor Adams was never in the team.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good story for Billy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, he's been around a long time.
Has he played at more clubs than one other? I know he's played at Adelaide. Has he played somewhere else, Billy Frampton? Maybe not.
Why do I feel like he was at Essendon? That's just not him, is it?
Jaden's going to have a little quick look for us. But
Who
Billy
am I
Frampton
thinking of
comes
played
into the side from nowhere, the clouds, really.
Yeah, I know.
Daniel McStay. I feel for McStay,
that
for
hurts him.
Adams. John Noble's not, like we've forgotten a little bit.
He
John
played
Noble.
like every game and then just out of nowhere got dropped.
86 games he played in a row. Played at Port and Adelaide.
Billy, who am I thinking? Phillips that played at Essendon. Yeah. And
So
got
Bill-
3 votes out of nowhere.
I thought there was a chance that they could have bought Ginnivan in, gone a bit smaller,
Yeah.
gone for, I don't know, small ball type areas, but they haven't. They've gone like for like. Billy Frampton comes in. That'll be, and clearly it can go either way, but for a player to come in and you got your chance, you got nothing to lose, no one expects anything from you, he could be a really important part of
He could
Grand
be a
Final
massive
day.
part of it. Come out there like you were. No one expected you to do anything, and you came out and won them the game
Excellent.
in 18.
Jack Payne is a test. By the sounds of things, he's not going to get up
No.
unless something special happens. He's been dealing with ankle issues on one ankle. He hurt his other ankle as well. So Darcy Gardner will maintain his spot. He's another story.
He played very well.
He's played 3 games this year.
Yeah, and he played very, very well on the weekend.
Correct. Lincoln McCarthy, I believe he's in, but he was dealing with some calf issues. He did a calf in round 23. They were re-looking at that calf, but I believe he's in.
He'll get up.
Jack Gunston, available, may not be picked. Thoughts, feelings?
That's an interesting one because they have, I mean, it's the hoodoo that they're not very good at the G and they don't know how to get it done there.
Jack Gunston does.
He knows how to get it done. He's won a few. He's been there, done that for a lot of football games. So that wouldn't surprise me if he finds a way into the team, but like, who are you dropping?
So hopefully Jack Gunston and Daniel Rich have learnt their very hard lessons here.
Yeah.
This is why you don't drop yourself.
This is why you don't say, hey, I'm just going to sit this one
This is
out.
why you don't go and sit in the coach's office and say, hey, you know what, Chris?
I'm not up to it at the moment because then your team wins and makes a grand final and,
then
you're
miss a
not
premiership.
playing.
Jack Gunston, Daniel Rich, if you haven't been playing at Following at home, they dropped themselves in the middle of the year.
Yep.
Daniel Rich have not been back in the side. Jack has,
Yep.
but he finds himself back out again. I think this is a big area where Brisbane have improved this year is their, not so much depth, but their quality and consistency in front of the footy.
They've got some fucking good forwards.
Joe Danaher, Eric Hipwood, and to an extent Charlie Cameron, but I think he's actually gone to the consistency level already. But those first two have been much maligned for their inconsistent performance.
And, Joey kicked 5 on the weekend.
They've been consistent
They've
this
been
year.
very, very good. And they're kicking big bags. Like they're kicking consistently really well. They're kicking not points. They're not missing a lot. Cam Rayner's in there and he's flying along. Charlie Cameron, obviously. But then you got other guys that are popping up. Zach Bailey, best player ever.
Yeah, correct. Lincoln McCarthy's a good player.
Yeah, they're very well set in front of the ball.
Now, I wanted to give you some stats of some players against the other team. So Brisbane players against Collingwood. Joe Danaher, how many goals did he average?
I reckon Smoke and Joel average 3.
That is correct.
I'm not looking at this. I'm not looking at these. I'm
No.
eyeballing it.
Charlie Cameron averages how many goals?
I think he probably averaged maybe 1.
4 goals against
see,
Collingwood.
that's why I probably should look at it.
Who
plays on him?
Had 6 goals in round 4 and 4 goals in round 23 win. I think who plays him, you got to go between Quainer and Maynard. But so,
and he's averaging 4.
So if you remember, like Toby Green would be the Charlie Cameron, right, of GWS. So they both spent time in both Maynard and Quainer. They sort of say that they play a bit of a handover type defence, Collingwood.
Yeah.
I think you've got to play someone a bit taller on Charlie Cameron. I think Quainer would get taught a lesson a little bit. Great player. I think you play Maynard on him. I think Charlie Cameron struggles a little bit more on taller guys that are quick.
Because if you get it quick, he's quicker.
If you get like a like-for-like small guy...
He's better.
Yes.
Just get someone who can outmark him.
Yes.
And so the ball doesn't hit the ground. That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, but you've got to have some pace, which Maynard does.
Yep.
He's a bit bigger body. I think they play him on. Lockie Neal, how many disposals did he average against Collingwood?
Oh, he would average, I would say, 29.
He averages 29 disposals against Collingwood.
Come on,
you're going very well. Let's go the other side, Collingwood. What did Nick Dacos have the last time he played Brisbane? And keep in mind, he did not play in round 23. The last time he played Brisbane was round 4, the loss against Brisbane. What did he have? Big game or a quiet game?
No, he had a massive game from memory. He didn't have 40. He had 40 in the first couple of rounds, didn't he? I reckon he fell just short, maybe like 37.
38. 2 goals, 2 in a round 4
game.
loss. Big game. Which, look,
Pretty sure he got 3 votes, didn't he? Or 2 votes?
Yeah, one or the other. They will look at that. What round did I say it was? Round
4.
He had 0 votes.
Wow. How big was the loss?
He had 0 votes in that game.
How big was the loss? Well, who cares?
It was a decent loss.
Yeah, right.
Nick Dacos.
Dom Sheed.
Do they pay any extra attention to Nick Dacos?
I think you have to.
So do I.
I think you have to. You can't let him just run around and do whatever he wants. He was the best player in the competition this year and would have won the Brownlow if not for an injury.
Yes.
He's so influential to their ball movement, and you can't just let him run around and do what he likes, I think. And it's like, yeah, okay, suck up the ego and tag a 20-year-old.
You know how it works.
You have to.
You know how it works in footy land, though. I think both sides won't look too much at the round 4 game. They might have a couple of little things, but they're not looking at the style of play from round 4 from Brisbane, are you?
You're not. But you look at the premierships over the last however many years, and I just can't stop. I can't help but think about the Richmond-Geelong one. Geelong were winning at halftime.
At the Gabba?
At the Gabba.
Yep.
That game was all but sewn up. There was one man from the opposition that could have won them the game, and it was Dustin Martin.
Yes.
And Chris Scott just didn't do anything
Arrogance.
about it. He just said, we're going to keep winning. And then Dustin Martin kicked 3 and had 20 in the second half. So it's like, you tag him, Geelong win the premiership. They don't, and Richmond do.
So do you think
I think you have to tag Nick Dacos. He's their best player by a mile. And he's so influential. I think you have to look at him.
With who?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a great question, but I don't know.
Because like we both have seen him in person, not on the field, but watching, and how
He's
great
so
his running
fucking fit.
His running capacity is amazing. So if you're putting someone on him,
They've got to be a good runner.
you can't have him on him for the first half and then
Back it up.
yeah. So maybe it's leave him, let him go for the first, and then hopefully someone can hang on in the second half.
Maybe. Oh, I don't know. It's one to watch.
I would like some physical and mental warfare against Nick Dacos.
That happened against Sydney, and it just didn't work.
He
dominated that
I don't agree. They dropped it. They dropped it in the second half, Sydney. He's a second-year player. You cannot tell me that he's just rolling up to the G, all good.
Oh, yeah, grand final day's a
he's
different
going to be
beast.
nervous.
He's going to be shitting himself, no question.
If you're Dane Zorko, for instance, who from all reports likes a bit of lip, I'd be getting straight into Nick Dacos.
I'd be niggling his knee.
He kicks 2 goals in the first quarter, and then you shut the hell up.
Yeah, that's one to watch. You'd have to tag him.
Scott Pendlebury, what does he average against the Lions across the journey? He's been playing for a while.
Fuck, he's been playing a long time. I can't imagine it would be massive because he's played so many games, but he's a good player. I'm going to say 26.
23 disposals.
I thought it was about
again,
that.
he's played a lot of games.
He's played like 1,000 games.
Tom Mitchell averages 25 disposals against Collingwood.
That's okay. Against Brisbane.
And Jordan De Goey, who I think is the most impactful player in this game.
Jordan De Goey against the Lions. Am I averaging goals or touches?
What's he average?
I reckon he averages 22.
He averages 24 disposals and 5 inside 50s, the most of any player across the journey over the past few years.
He was so good last weekend.
Yeah, correct.
And just spent the last 10 minutes on the bench.
So do you let him run about and do his business? If you're going to tag Nick Dacos, you can't tag Jordan De Goey.
No, you can't tag Jordan De Goey, but who would tag Jordan De Goey from that team?
I mean, Josh Dunkley had a role last week on Patrick Cripps, I believe, kept him to 13 disposals, but that is a like for like. No speed, no agility. Patrick Cripps, no offense to Patrick Cripps, great in and under player, but
Jordan De Goey he's
a different player.
He's a different beast.
So I don't know who goes to him there. A couple of other players who I think are going to have big impacts on this game, Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox. They're coming up against someone who is a great story, the big O, Oscar McInerney. He was at pick 116 in the 116, 113 in the.
How are you even getting picked then?
When in the 2016 draft, he'd come through the EFL, the Eastern Footy League.
Yep.
He's been around. He's going to be the best ruckman in this game.
In the game, yep.
But Mason Cox and Darcy Cameron, I think, together can curtail him because Mason Cox had a big impact against
Briggsy.
Briggsy. Last week.
Mason Cox was phenomenal.
Correct.
Turned into all-time Darren Sandlands there for a hot minute.
Darcy Cameron also turned around in that prelim final. He had a career-high 5 intercept marks last week. If you remember, they put him behind the ball and they kept bombing it to him. What about the ball movement of this game? Brisbane, I think, are more talented by list.
Yep.
But Collingwood are aggressive with ball. How does that play out in a grand final, do you think, the way these sides move the footy?
I think it'll really favour Brisbane. I think the way that Collingwood have been able to win their previous 2 finals are because there is pressure on the football and they just bomb it long. And you've got outsized forwards. The Collingwood defence is very, very good and they just sit back and intercept. Whereas I think the Brisbane midfield can stand up to the heat and can find... They've got such good targets forward that are leading up at the ball, especially these big boys who are creating a contest. I don't think other teams that they've played have had that. Like you look at... Melbourne, who's their tall forwards weren't making a contest because they don't really have any mainstay tall forwards. GWS had Jesse Hogan.
And that's it, basically. Riccardi.
That's it.
In between.
And these guys have got 2 out-and-out genuine key forwards and some real star power around it. I think the delivery, even under pressure, is still going to have a contest for them. But then I think once they get settle under the pressure, it'll really suit Brisbane. But the fast-running play of Collingwood is going to be
They're not going
to
kick long down the line to Brisbane. Harris Andrews won't be able to do what he wants back there.
Yep. They're going to try and really shift the angle of the footy and run hard through the middle of the ground.
Because Harris Andrews was the most influential player, at least in the first half last week for Brisbane.
Yep.
When they were under the pump, they had multiple inside 50s.
He
Carlton.
monstered Curnow.
He did.
Monstered
he
Curnow.
Did. That is a good call. So who does he get? Who does Harris Andrews get and who does Darcy Gardner get if you think Hipwood and Danaher? Sorry. That's ridiculous.
Other way around.
Correct. Who does Harris Andrews go to? Myercheck, Frampton, or Cox? I think those are the 3 talls that they'll be playing with.
Yeah. I think he goes to I think
he goes to Mason Cox.
I think he goes to Mason Cox, yeah.
I think he knows you can beat Mason Cox playing him a certain way. He wants the ball in front of him. He doesn't want to come and float across side of backs. If you give him enough respect...
Yeah,
read the ball quicker than him.
I think Gardner goes to Myercheck.
Myercheck's their best forward. And I agree with that.
Gardner played well.
He's a lockdown defender. Put your best lockdown defender on Myercheck.
Your best forward,
Myercheck can win a game. He's a very good player.
He is. And was on a rookie list for like 4 years.
People don't rate him. He's a gun,
He's a good player.
He's a gun. So you put Darcy Gardner on him.
Yep.
You put Harris Andrews on Cox.
Yep.
Who's playing on Billy Frampton? Maybe we're onto something here. Maybe
Billy Frampton's going to win the North Smith Medal and kick 8. Gary Ablett
Tell you what. Kitty Coleman is one player for Brisbane I think has a chance to impact this footy game. He had a career-high 11 intercept possessions.
He was good.
And a season-high 634 metres gained last week against Carlton. If you're doing pre-game... So the preparation for grand final is as intense as it gets. They will have gone through every player. This is what he does. Kitty Coleman's right up there with, hey, we need to stop this guy, correct?
We need to stop his run off half-back. Is it worth sacrificing a small forward for them? Like, it's almost at the point where it's probably.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But they'll be certainly aware of it. He won't be running around doing whatever he wants.
He won't be allowed to run off half-back doing what he wants. But they'll get a forward on him that can come up the ground and then try and beat him back. There was a kick that he did. I can't remember who it hit. It might have hit Eric Hipwood lace out. But he got a handball receive off the halfback, and I'm pretty confident he mongrelled it. And it just wobbled perfectly into his lap.
Oh, and what skills from... Great skills.
Great skills from Coleman. And I'm like, mate, he's just mongrelled that. But I think he's one you have to pay attention to. They're going to have... If they want to stop that hard running, low inside 50 ball movement, it's
Yes.
going to have to be like he's going to be a massive driver in that. So they've got to put a bit of work into that. They're going to put work into everyone. It's a fucking grand final.
Now,
Best game ever.
what we were just talking about Brody Myercheck. This is a nice little one for all you responsible gamblers out there. The Lions are one of 5 teams that Brody Myercheck averages more than 2 goals against over his career. He has never finished goalless in 7 games, kicking 3 and 2 respectively this season. Brody Myercheck.
Wow.
He could be up for a couple of goals. Anything else you want to add on these matchups, mate? Jordan DeGoey, we didn't give him, I guess, too much in detail, but what he was able to do around the stoppage last week, he is their burst player. He is their impact guy. Yeah. Scott Pendlebury is their distributor. He had almost 30 disposals last week.
Yeah, he was very good.
I've seen some guys talk about the 2018 Grand Final this year, which has been enjoyable to watch, actually. Still, Sidebottom was stopped in that game, if you remember.
Side-ass had like fucking 11, didn't he?
Mark Hutchins absolutely took him to
dominated
town.
Him. Who's going to look after the Brownlow medalist this week?
That's
the
a very good
two-time
point.
Brownlow
We have
medalist.
not spoken about Lockie Neal.
There is a 2-time Brownlow medalist running around in the midfield for Brisbane.
And there's also a Brownlow
There's also
medalist.
a Brownlow medalist running around for Collingwood. Did
Tom
they just
Mitchell.
go one-on-one?
Head-to-head?
Probably.
Tom Mitchell looked a bit off it in the first part of that game last week against GWS, but he worked his way into the game.
Going. He had like an underrated, pretty good season, I think. He's been very good all year.
Now, we're getting very close to calling our good friend Mark Reddings.
Has he finished packing?
But before we do that, I think maybe we can just give him a call right now.
Yeah, we may as well.
I think maybe give him a little spell. So to give you some context, ladies and gentlemen, Mark Reddings is going over for the grand final. You're not going over?
No.
No, I am. He's getting packed, ready for the grand
packing.
final.
Hello.
Mark Reddings, Will Schofield, Hamish Brayshaw, show the FootyCast. How are you, Skeeter?
Very well, thank you, gentlemen. Good to chat.
Are you getting...
are you packing?
What's happening? I can hear...
Being chauffeured to the airport by my daughter, slightly.
Nice.
So I wanted to... What's the breakdown here, Skeeter? Are you getting on a private jet? Have you got the corporate
Have you got a
suite?
PJ?
Have you got a private
No,
jet?
it's a chartered flight. Let's just clarify that. Thanks to Paul Ramsey at Travel and Sport Australia. So that will take care of itself. I've got a media pass, but things are starting to unfold quite nicely. I've actually got a couple of mates, some schoolmates who are going across. One of them has done quite well in life, as opposed to the other two of us. And he's going to be staying at the Crown Towers. So I've somehow, I think, managed to find a spot at the Crown Towers. And then on Grand Final Day, he's actually in a corporate box. So there's a silly chance I might find myself in a reasonable place on Grand Final Day, but it's still a long way to go between now and the opening grounds.
Now, Skeeter, you told me you were going home to get changed from work this morning. Hamish and I, look, we always have a bit of a chat about what you're wearing here, Skate. Hamish and I were having a bit of a debate, a bit of a discussion around, were you going home to get changed down? Like, were you going home to get...
down or dressing up?
Yeah, were you going home to get changed into something more comfortable, or were you going home to dress yourself up for the private jet?
For the CF, the charter.
No, just jeans and a polo and some normal regulation shoes, though, which wouldn't go as far new occasionally. But,
Skate, hang on a minute. Skate. Are you getting on a plane in a pair of jeans?
Yeah, what do you expect me to wear, Hammer?
Something more comfortable. You're sitting on a plane for 4 hours and you're wearing the world's most uncomfortable pair of pants, jeans. What on earth are you thinking? Tracksuit pants. Who are you there to impress? Oh, my God.
What you forget, Hammer, Sandover medalist, controversial former AFL player. What you understand, I might not go home after I'm done playing in Melbourne. So you've got to put things in place for 10, 12 hours ahead of schedule. So,
put a pair of jeans in the bag, Skate.
The wise old fox, the wily old fox knows what he's doing, Hammer. He knows he's got this all planned out. He's got his barbecue shapes in his pocket. He's probably got a cheeky little packet as well. Now, Skeet, I did want to ask you, mate, I know you're a very busy man getting chauffeured out to the airport. I do want to ask, what do you think's going to happen in this grand final? We just did our preview leading into the big game. How do you see the game going? Who's going to play well, and maybe a selection and a bit of a margin?
Yeah, in a nutshell, look, it's the best team of the year against, I guess, the form team of September in many ways. Forget the last quarter against Carlton. It all depends on if Collingwood can strangle the forward line of the Brisbane Lions. Because I just can't see Collingwood kicking 60 or 58 points again and winning a GF 29 degrees on Saturday. So they build a lot of their attack from half back. Collingwood, if the defensive forwards or the forwards of Brisbane can really nullify their ball movement, which is obviously you've spoken about that a lot this year. Collingwood's terrific in that department. And again, you ask the question, who kicks the goals for the Magpies? Billy Frampton comes in, but you're relying on your small forwards, Mycheck, amongst those, Elliott, Hill. It's going to take something pretty special from their midfield, I think, to get across the line. So on that basis, obviously most of it's a barrier for Brisbane, given Collingwood and another grand final loss, so it wouldn't hurt. But I still think that you've gone through the matchups, Dunkley to try and shut down the go. And I think Charlie Cameron, he's had a couple of average finals by his own standard, and I think he might be due on Saturday at the G. So I think they can keep a score, Brisbane, and on that basis, to get the hurdle, I think they've won a final against Melbourne. I think they can win the flag, which would be terrific for 20 years down the track after these two clubs met in a decider when Posse and Coe threw their weight around.
Norm Smith medal?
Norm Smith medal. Well, if I'm going to put down, how about this? Give it his top a fair bit of flack for none of it's his fault for winning the Brownlow. How about Lockie wins the Norm Smith just to stick up a lot of people who thought he was an undeserving winner. You don't have too many dual Brownlow medalists are undeserving.
Yeah, I like that, Skeet. Now, before we let you go, this is without notice, but the Bottle Mart Roughie of the Week, it's difficult to do a selection here, but I just thought maybe something that happens in this game that not many people expect. If you got something that, other than, you not actually making your way to a corporate suite, I'd say that would be quite a rough result. Yeah. You not actually weaseling your way into somewhere. What's something game day, Bottle Mart Roughie of the Week that could happen that not many people are expecting?
Yeah, my Bottle Mart Roughie of the Week, it doesn't come from a play. I'm just thinking aloud. I think there's been a few occasions in Perth. In fact, Perth is a place where this happens a lot. I was at Lord's and it happened after the first over.
Yes, we know you went
there.
Yes, we know.
I think we'll see an invader of the pitch now. We're hoping it's a female. We're hoping she doesn't have any clothes on, but I'm expecting there to be.
Is your daughter driving?
She's driving. She's not impressed. She's not happy. But that's okay. She understands where I'm coming from. I'm talking to the Neanderthals of the footy world as we are.
Shout out our audience.
I think we might see someone. I think someone might just get on the ground at some stage on the weekend. I mean, that's pretty rough. That's going to be worse.
That's rough. Yeah, that's
rough as Skater. Probably not as rough as your head's going to be after this weekend, Skater.
Yeah.
Mate.
Sorry, Robinson Caruso. Look at you sitting there. You'll be absolutely gassed, I reckon, by the first quarter with the rest of us.
Robinson Caruso. Sorry, can you explain what that means?
I don't know. It's just a saying that, you're sitting there in your ivory tower like Pope Benedict, thinking that you're not going to be on the gas for
left and right. Skeet's just
very good, Skater. Skater, I'll let you get back to apologising to your daughter.
Yep.
Enjoy the grand final, mate. And we hope to share a couple of shelters over there with you.
Looking forward to it, boys. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, Skate.
There you go. Mark Redding's live from a private plane somewhere in the...
live from his CF charter flight.
That was very good. Let's take a little snap it on this. And then, actually, you know what?
Have we done it?
We probably need to predict who wins the grand final.
Yeah,
Hamish.
we do. And I think...
Give us a bit of a rundown how this one's going to go.
I really, really think it might follow similar trajectory early to the West Coast game in 2018. I think Collingwood are going to jump them.
Really?
The same way that Carlton did. I think they're going to come out of the blocks hot.
That will be on their mind from the prelim.
Collingwood Grand Final. The Collingwood fans are going to go nuts. It's going to be an atmosphere like no other early. And then the Lions will steady the ship, and it'll be an arm wrestle. It'll be there, and it'll just go bang. And I think the Lions are going to win by I reckon they'll win by 4 goals.
There you go. Norm Smith medal.
I like the Lockie Neal one.
Yes.
Imagine that. That's a Dusty Martin year. That's grand final, Brownlow, Norm Smith.
And then he can stick it up everyone.
I don't think he will win it. I think Charlie Cameron is going to pop up and kick 5.
And win the
Norm Smith medal, yeah.
Okay. And the Bottle Mart Roughie of the Week. Start your footy weekend at Bottle Mart. Grab your shelters where Bottle Mart has you covered. Something rough that might happen.
Well, I think Charlie Cameron kicking 5 and winning the Norm Smith.
I mean, yeah, but he's a good player. And he's a gun. He averages 4 goals.
Yeah,
it's not that rough.
I'm going to go elsewhere on the Bottle Mart Roughie. What am I going to think? Can you do your grand final prediction and I'm going to have a think?
Look, I'm with you. I think Brisbane wins this one. I'm not with you on how this goes. I think given what happened in the prelim, the coaching staff, Chris Fagan and co, will have this team absolutely buzzing to start the game. And I actually think Brisbane gets a little jump, not a big jump. Collingwood will be settled anyway. I do think Brisbane starts a lot better than they did last week because it's just what happens. If you start poorly, All the coaches, everyone's talking about starting well. So maybe it'll take them a little bit more time to settle, but they start well, and it's quite an even first quarter. It is the arm wrestle, as you've said, but I think they're the better side. And if they're going to win, which I think they will, it will have to be a 4 or 5 goal margin, because if it's a close game, Collingwood actually win this game.
Yeah.
If
Collingwood
it becomes
is so
close,
good at close games.
Collingwood finds a way, as they've done for 2 years, to win this game. But I don't think it's going to be close. I think Brisbane wins this in not a runaway, but 4 or 5 goal region. They get this one done. The Norm Smith medal. Look, I would love Harris Andrews to win the Norm Smith, but it is very rare occurrence that a fullback wins it. Brian Lake, one of those guys that has done that in the modern era at least. I think it's a midfielder, and I've said it somewhere else, so I'm going to say it here again. I think Josh Dunkley has a big game. He's played in a grand final before. Played in 2 before, actually.
Yeah.
One of only... Gee, this is a hard one. How many Brisbane Lions players have played in a grand final before? Josh Dunkley has. He's played in
Jack
2.
Gunston will have if he plays.
That's correct. I can't think
of many else.
Lincoln McCarthy didn't play with any at Geelong. Dayton Zorko's been there forever. It would have to be an import that I don't think that they have. Joe Danaher didn't play any with Essendon.
I can't think of anyone at the moment.
I think he's the only grand final player to play. He knows how to do it. He's won one. He gets the Norm Smith medal. Josh Dunkley.
Wow, there you go. And bottom up roughie of the week. Does it have to be something you can bet on, or can it just be a rough thing that might happen?
Skeet's got a female streaker going out.
Okay,
down,
well,
so it can be whatever you like.
My bottom up roughie, and this will be a real roughie, because I don't think he has. With the exception of the game he hurt his knee, I don't think Nick Dacos has ever had under 15 touches in a game of AFL.
Ever?
I don't. Well, that's just me throwing it out there.
That's amazing. It's probably right.
I think he gets held this week. I think under the weight of pressure.
Second game back,
grand final, Mr. Brownlow, everything piling on top of him. I think Brisbane are going to put some work into him. Wow. I think Nick Dacos has under 15 touches.
That would be rough.
That's rough because he'll take kick-ins. And then Brisbane just can't miss. But I think Nick Dacos gets under 15 touches.
I can't see that happening, but that's
Neither
exactly what that's
why it's a roughie.
The point. Look, I don't think we can go past our friend, our man who's come from the clouds, Billy Frampton. Billy Frampton
kicking a bag.
Kicks 4 goals in the grand final.
Yes.
From
Huge.
nowhere.
From the absolute cloud.
The other 2 forwards get held well. Harris Andrews, Darcy Gardner get it done. Billy Frampton just goes, you know what?
Cometh the moment, cometh the man. Billy Frampton.
There you go. That's our grand final preview here on the Shelter FootyCast. Will Schofield, Hamish Brayshaw. Now, we had a couple of little questions to get through. I think we've actually got some. Okay, very good. We like this, Jane. Thank you very much. Swayze. Sawsey, you reckon?
Patrick.
What? How do you know it's Sawsey?
Because there's an A before the W.
There you go. That makes sense.
How do you spell Patrick Swayze?
S-W-A-Z-E-Y. I don't know.
Sawsey. Travis Kelce is now dating Taylor Swift. Thinks it's time to retire the audio boys. You got it for me?
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Come on now. Let's go, Jaden. Can't be mentioning it and not have that.
Travis Kelce. Yeah, I know. Well, when's she going to break up with him and write the song?
I think Travis Kelce, I think he needs to know his role and shut his mouth. I don't know if he's in the league of Taylor Swift.
Well,
got to be honest.
Who is?
That's also a good
Swiftie.
point. Yeah, correct.
She'll write a song about him.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
It's one of the great audio packages of all time. Now, grand final weekend coming up. If you want to go and enjoy it, I would be heading down to some of these venues, because we did give a giveaway and we're going to announce the winner down at the Leederville precinct for the AFL Grand Final party. But I reckon some of these, we've got some beautiful shelters on tap. The Wembley, the Ashby, the Gate, Percy Flint down at South Freo. You want to get down there. Leederville Sporting Club. That's the Bowls Club. They'll be putting some beers on down there.
Wow.
Besk. The Paddo.
Yeah.
Oh,
the Paddington Ale House. The Heart and Soul of
We
Mount
probably
Hawthorn.
should have been saying the Paddo off the top.
The Heart and Soul of Mount Hawthorn.
Par 3 Busselton. If you want to go down and sink some holes and then watch
Knock
some
a couple
goals.
Yeah.
Get down there.
Any other rhymes? No.
I was waiting for you to come in. That was
I was
you.
trying to find one.
Geograph Bay Yacht Club, Tonic by the Bay, Poorhouse, Smalls Bar, blah, blah, blah. You want to go and have some shelters and enjoy the footy, that's where you go. Nathan Mann has won the 4 tickets to the big dance, the AFL Grand Final party down at the Leederville Precinct. Nathan will be contacting you via social. Well done.
Well done, Nate.
You and 3 of your mates. I'm assuming you did tag them in the social posts like you was meant to. Very good. I think we're done and dusted, Hammer. What are you doing? What are you doing for the grand final weekend?
I will be having my first shelter at I would say about 8 o'clock.
Right.
I'm going to be reasonable with it. I'm back into the gym this week, which I'm really not happy about. I'm sore and I hate everything.
Talking like play a sweep?
Yeah, I'll do the sweeps. I'll do everything. I'll put $5 in the jar.
House
for the
party? Going to a pub?
Nah, house party. We'll have some boys around at my place, and it'll be great fun. It'll be hot. The pool will be welcome, and I'll be having a few XPAs.
I'm going to shout out my mate. I'm going over for the grand final. Fly out Friday.
Nice.
Saturday, obviously,
PJ?
grand final. No PJ, unfortunately. I'm in the Exeter, though.
Nice. Basically a PJ.
And my good friend, let's call him James, I've pulled out of work. I could have worked the grand final and called it with 6PR. I said, you know what, I'm not going to do that.
Why would you?
One of my mates has got a corporate box. He's pulled out to come and sit with us. A mate of mine has got 3 kids, all under the age of 3. He said to the missus, you know what, we're going to the grand final. James, my friend, has just put a message into the group thread saying, hey, boys, I might be laid out. He runs laundromats down in Geelong, and they've just bought a new shop. He's effectively telling me, as far as I can tell, he's got to put a few loads of washing on the Saturday.
Of course.
And can't
Good
come,
weather for it, mate.
Can't
Got to
come
hang
to
it
the
out. It's 28 degrees.
It's 28 degrees. Scully's in town. Steiny's not in a corporate box. Steen has got the kids at home. And old James got to put a couple of loads of washing on. Just a bit of a shout out, James. I know you listen to this. Lift your fucking game, mate.
Yeah,
I'll see you at the
Jimmy.
GF. Have a good one, mate.
You too.
Go the Lions.
Go the Lions. Come on.
Piss off, pies.
Piss off, pies. Go the Lions. Bam.